Morning. Today we're going to talk about doing some speed tests on your home network, making sure you're getting what you pay for, maybe identify a slow router that needs reset or maybe just is on the fritz and it's just cheaper to go buy another one. Um, it's going to depend what you do at home, how many people, if you're a big gamer, everybody's streaming, things like that. So let's go over it. Good place to do your tests point to point. It's called Speedtestnet. Go in your browser and put that in. So we're going to do a couple things locally. In Windows 10, if you go down to the bottom taskbar, right click on Task Manager. Now what that does is it will bring up performance, and if you look for your Wi-Fi, we're going to see a little bit of work here while we're doing this test. So in the particular case I had recently, a friend of mine's mom, real nice laptop, everything was working fine. When I looked at her gear, what it was the pretty much 6 or 10 year old version of a Comcast router, but it didn't have Wi-Fi then. So what they normally would do is they'd stick a wire into it and pull off and go to another router for Wi-Fi. And in her case, it was a Cisco Linksys. So a couple of things I did was I tested the speed from the Comcast box out to Comcast. She's running 40 megabits a second. Inside, the best she could get was 100 kilobits a second, which is just not going to work for pretty much anybody. So anyway, in the right hand window here, what I'm seeing is a couple things: send and receive speed, and it's just basically I'm not doing much, and it's not running a lot of speed. So we're going to go with this test and watch how it changes, because I want to get how much can I really push through. So it's a simple test. You just hit go, and you can see they're running. I pay for 50/50 up and down, and I'm hardwired in to my particular router right to the FiOS router. So I get really good speed, everything else. And like I say, it gets really close to 50/50. It just depends what you have. But over here on the right, we can see we're pumping 50 megabits. Now it's pretty much all I got, out my pipe to the door. So it's one thing to consider. Um, Now there's different versions, and if you're not a big household and you're not doing a lot of gaming, you can pretty much get by with a pretty inexpensive one. If you need to replace, it's 25 bucks. This isn't the main unit coming in from a wire, but this is the external you're going to add. Sometimes you can string them along by a wire and then just get it in a different position in your home. So now what I want to do is show you how I'm communicating. So the first thing you're going to know is the reason why the upload's a little bit less than 50 is I am actually using wireless, and I'm actually testing the device I'm going to install this morning at my friend's house. So I can assure you it was a 5-minute plug and play for me. And the other one I may be able to fix, but it would take me hours to download new code, clean it, test it. I'd have to do it here. So this is going to be the quickest way to get her up and running. Again, the trunk works this way. Normally, your main box coming in, if you plug in, will usually give you what they call gigabit speed when you're on the wire. So wireless here for me is almost, darn close to 50, 50/50. But if I hardwire, I get maybe 60/60 total. So it's just a little bit extra. But I wanted to show you how to look inside your Windows 10 to see, is it really getting where I'm going? How can I test? You can do this also on your cell phone. So just say don't use Wi-Fi, you're just connected to your 4G or whatever you go to. Go in your browser on your phone, go to speedtestnet, and see where you're at. And I get 20 megabits, which is pretty nice for 4G LTE. And then you can turn on your Wi-Fi and then try it, and you'll get some really good bang. So if you're at home and you want to save minutes, times, get some better speed, you're better off taking your smartphone and adding the Wi-Fi. So it's going to cut down on all your minutes. It's not going to eat up your data plan. So there you go. Hopefully this helps. In our case, let me see if I can run a video in the background, turn off the sound, and just give you an idea what it will do. So depending on the video and depending on how they feed, you'll see this jump. And it doesn't always have to be moving because remember, it grabs it in chunks. So it'll grab 10 megabits per second for a chunk. And it's basically up and down. But you can see we're getting good speed. In my friend's case, literally 100 kilobits top for the receive. So horrible, horrible performance. So again, it can be your gear. I would just say turn off, turn on to be sure first, and then you can run a few tests. And if you want, you can get everybody on it and see what's happening. So really, you need to know a good bit at home now if you're going to be having a lot of people on it. And these simple things can kind of give you an idea. So hopefully this is helpful, and it was a fun troubleshoot because it's probably the first time in a long, probably the first time in 10 years I've seen a router not work or actually perform that poorly. And again, $25, I think it was 30 with the fix, and it took a little work. And the person I'm doing this for is a friend of my mom's. She's computer literate, but not at this level. So anyway, people, hope that helped out. Oh, another thing I can show you here real fast is when I pull this up, and this will be in Windows. What I want to see is the Network and Sharing Center. And right now you can see that I'm sitting here, but what I want to do is I want to see where it's coming in here, connection speed. So see, I've got full bars. Now, the old wireless, it was a cap at 54 megabits. We're getting 150 on this device because we've got two antennas and it's got a lot more functionality on the chip. Things called MIMO, CCA. CCA basically goes out, takes a look, and in 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi, you only have 1 through 11 channels. So it'll go out and look, and whatever channel isn't the busiest, it's going to stick there. So that kind of helps. And there's a lot more technology called MIMO. Getting the bounce off of two antennas gives you better throughput. So we're getting 3 times more than what I can get out the pipe to Fios. So we're, for me, more than adequate, and I didn't have to spend a fortune. So again, I've showed you, what I'm getting at the unit, what I'm able to push through on a metric, and then also running the tests to really see my high point. And I would say everybody should do that because sometimes, and then if you still run into problems, I would have, Comcast, Fios, whoever your provider is, have their technicians do a test from home office for their side. If you detect problems and you're not getting speed. In this case, they just looked at their router and said, oh, you're getting 40 megabits. As far as we're concerned, you're fast. But they didn't go the next step further. And I'm not sure they can. Anyway, have a great day.